Tantor with a recap of Georgia Tech's 24-14 victory over Duke. Well, actually, guys, and girls, this is take 3 on Tantor's recap, because the first one happened at 2 a.m. Sunday morning after the game, and quite frankly, all it was a Tantor bitch session. And I showed it to someone this morning, and I was told that, what are you complaining about? It was a win, you covered the point spread, thus your bank account's larger, and you're acting like an Alabama fan after a visit to Nashville against Vandy. Great point. So we erased that bitch session and went and watched the video of the game again to pick up some more pointers, see what I might have missed, and try to work my anger out. So I did take 2. And take 2 ended up being a 45-minute marathon of Tantor breaking down every single play in that game. I consider that therapy. It was Tantor therapy, and it was only for Tantor. So watch that, and as Coach always tells me, hey, shut up. So Tantor can't shut up. So now we got take 3. And we're going to try to be more positive, but I can't really do that. We got the likes, we got the dislikes, so we'll just start right in on it. I really like the quarterback play tonight. Haynes King was very good. Passing, he only threw for 167 yards, something like that. But he had a couple TDs. He had 30 yards rushing, but I thought he was very efficient. Really like Pyron on the short yardage. Pyron's just a beast running the ball short yardage. I like what he does. I would do that every time, and then in game 12 at the end of the season, I would throw a little wrinkle. I would do a fake off that and do a pass and do a play action with Pyron. And I know that's going to work against those people at the end of the year. I like Jamal Haynes had a great night with 128 yards rushing. He looked better. He looked quick. He looked quick and elusive, and he hasn't looked like that much of the season. Alexander, coming off the bench, was also very good. Liked what I saw with Alexander, hitting the hole hard, running hard. We ran the ball really, really well. We had 200-plus yards rushing the ball. We got rid of our duo scheme. Basically, it's an inside zone. We didn't do that a whole lot. Our inside running game, I would call that a power, what we went to, with a tight end lead or running a trap with a guard or a tackle coming in trap. But we added another blocker inside, and that made all the difference on an inside run game. But we were not running that inside zone. It was more of a power concept. Then we opened it up to the outside, so we were running outside zone. We were also running some counter traps to the outside with pulling linemen and your tight ends out wide. That worked too. And then our screen game, which it's technically passing, but that's really a long handoff. That was good, and it helps spread the field out. It helps make the defense defend the entire width of the field, and you have to do that. You have to spread the defense out, and that worked, as well as the jet sweeps, like the jet sweep. So I like the concepts of the run game. I just didn't like how it was utilized, and I think that's what made me so angry in our second and third quarters. We'll get to that. Rutherford in the pass game, man, that guy can just play. I mean, his route running is tremendous, good hands. I just like what he does there. Singleton's dangerous every time he touches the ball. I liked Eric Singleton returning the opening kickoff. He and getting the jet sweeps, he needs to touch the ball 10, 12 times a game. All right, he's just a weapon, and that definitely needs to happen. So that's a lot of the stuff that I really, really liked on offense, on what we were doing. On defense, Vanderberg on defense, that kid was playing his butt off. I mean, he had our sack for the night, put pressure on constantly when he had the opportunity, but he was making tackles 10 yards downfield, chasing the ball carrier down from behind. He just had a tremendous game. His hustle is there. And if you've got a 2 playing like that, If I was the ones, I'd be worried about some of my PT going away because that kid came to play. And we've always said, Tantor keeps saying our corners are not zone corners. They're man corners. We played man almost exclusively during the game, with the exception when we tried to put the game away at the end. We rushed 3 and we dropped back in quarter zones. All right. Harvey picks the ball off playing zone. He played it perfectly. When I went back and watched it on video, it's like, man, he read that all the way. Guy comes into his zone, read the quarterback, stepped in front of it, and picked it off to end the game. And Harvey, hey, he shut my ass up. That's a corner that can play zone too. So Harvey, I just love that. He was great. Now we'll go straight to the things. I was really upset last night. I just thought that this Duke team is not a very good team. Matter of fact, I would go as far as to say that Duke's on the VMI level. We should have crushed Duke. We did whatever we wanted to, whenever we wanted to against Duke. Duke doesn't have the personnel. They're not any good. And their coaching is atrocious. I don't know what their coaching was doing. They should have won this game. Duke should have won the game. They were just bad. And to allow them, our defense dominated their offense with the exception of these slants. And Duke ran slants at will against us. Scored on a long one, and then all night long their long run plays were basically missed tackles, and we missed a lot of tackles. So, as usual, we missed tackles. And that's been happening week after week after week, and we have not solved the missed tackling problem. That aggravates me. When the other team is running slants on you, you have to change something up with your inside coverages. All right. Yeah, we're playing bump, tight press. Sometimes we fall off, but anyway, we're playing man outside. Those were not the guys killing us on the slants. It was the inside slot guys. It was the tight end. They were moving them around to get a favorable matchup against a linebacker or against a safety, and that is just something that we can't cover. So you've got to do something different there. All right, and we don't. And then we gave up that long touchdown pass in the second quarter that put us behind 14-10. It was a 65-yard slant. The ball went 5 yards. And we blitzed both the inside backer and the safety in the A-gap. All right, that concept is stupid. It sucks. You don't do that. So you leave an entire section of the middle of the field wide ass open that if any ball's caught there, it's going to the house, which it did. Stupid. That's on the coaching. That you don't call that. You don't even have a concept like that. Here, let's leave an entire section of the field open. There's no concept that is in that. So that's just bad. It's just bad and just pisses me off with that. So I didn't like special teams. I mean, our kickoff coverage. Jeez, come out in the second half. They ran a 70-yard kickoff return. What the hell? And I have nightmares with Shanahan kicking a live drive punt, getting caught by a returner on the run and taking it back to the line of scrimmage or back to the house. All right? That happened last night. We've got some special team problems. We lost the game against freaking Louisville because of that with a blocked field goal. But I was listening, okay, is it the concepts? Is it the coaching? I don't think so. I think it's the players. Because the guys on kickoff coverage and punt coverage, I saw a lot of walking out there and a lot of jogging out there. I didn't see a lot of guys out there selling out, trying to make plays. I hate to say that. I think it's a lot of effort. Not effort. That dude's a beast. He's a destroyer out there. He was all over the place on defense. He was shutting down Duke's running game. But effort on special teams with the twos out there, those guys don't have permission to be out there jogging on a field when they're supposed to be out there making plays. They're supposed to be making things happen with effort, and they're not doing it. And I think that's a player problem. I don't think that's a concept problem. That is a player problem. So I can't stand that. Our stupid penalties were just pissing me off. Now, the officiating sucked. Gibbs played in the first half. Gibbs had a pickoff that was perfect. He ran the route perfect. The receiver tried to push him from behind and fell down. Gibbs ran the route, gets the pick, and they throw a flag on Gibbs, which is stupid. But that gave Duke a touchdown. Well, refs, the same official, he's so bad, I guarantee you went in at halftime, they told him, hey, you missed this call. That was horrible. So he turns right around and takes a Duke touchdown away from them with an offensive pass interference call. That was a phantom call. That was a horrible call. It was not an offensive pass interference. If Duke wants to complain about that, sure, go ahead, because it was a bad call. But, hey, it tended to even itself out. The officiating was just horrible. We had no pass rush with the exception of Vanderberg. None. Duke's offensive line isn't very good. We had no pass rush. They've got a quarterback back there that, quite frankly, I don't know if he's starting for a D2 team. All right? We didn't do anything against him. It's just not. It's not good. It's not acceptable. Our offensive play calling is so darn frustrating. We get the opening kickoff and we drive down. We score a touchdown. It should be like that every time. In the fourth quarter, when we're behind 14-10, we start throwing the ball. We start mixing up our play calls. Run pass about 50%. We move the ball on them. Score 2 touchdowns. Just take them out of the game. Second, third quarters, though, is who's calling these plays? You can't sit there and run the same stupid play time after time after time. I'm okay with getting 4 yards a carry. That'll get you a first down every time. But our quarterback keeper with Haynes King, that play is not good. It's not. I like Haynes to keep the ball, but I like him to do it backside. I like to be with an RPO, with going against the grain and going backside. That's where I think he should be. He should be out in space, because of him running into the middle of the line on a 3rd and 2, that doesn't cut it. And we got stopped almost every time with him, with the exception of a couple of tush pushes. But that's not a good play, and we got stopped. So we have got to alternate our play calls. We've got to mix it up. We've got to be more 50-50. I want to throw the ball much more than what we're throwing it now. We got weapons out there, use them, and we're not. And either that's Buster's fault or it's Key's fault, but it's somebody's fault, and it's very poor coaching. Had a big argument last night in our section about who was the worst coach in the ACC. There's a lot of people thinking that it's Brent Key. I've been making excuses for the guy. He's never been a head coach at any level. He's got to get his players in. He's got to learn how to win, blah, blah, blah. I keep making excuses, but I'm just freaking tired of it, because the second and third quarters of last night's game, and then the Louisville game and the Syracuse game, makes a real good point for him being the worst coach in the ACC. But I will say this. There are 2 guys that we know for a shadow of a doubt that are worse than Brent Key. The 3. Mac Brown, that hired Jeff Collins as his defensive coordinator. Good God. Cristobal in Miami, that doesn't know how to take a knee. That's proven. That's a fact. And then the guy from Duke last night, because he stinks. Not kicking field goals, not taking his points. He could have put us away, because we kept on giving him the game. The officials and them making special teams plays could have put points on the board, and they didn't take them, and they lost. Now, if we would just call plays, we should have ran Duke out of the building. That just pisses me off beyond any stretch of the imagination, just seeing how our talent is being wasted. But we won. We covered the point spread. That's all good. But we should have blown Duke away. We should have killed them. And we didn't. But a win's a win. Happy with the win. But we need to play better than that. Next week, we've got UNC. They're not any good. They got Jeff Collins as their DC. That defense is horrible. We should score every time we touch the ball. Our offense should have the ball 9 or 10 times. So a minimum, we should put up 63 points on North Carolina. So I'll see you next week. Let's see if we put up a minimum of 63 points. But we probably won't, because we'll run a dive 25 plays. I just can't. I can't take that. I'm tired of making excuses for Key. He's got to stop with this stuff. We got to open up the offense and we got to score. There's no reason why we should have any losses this season, and we need to be doing better than this. So Tantor out. We'll see you after an NC.